I've had some broad life experiences. I've served in the military. My wife and I have raised a family. We've raised children. We've now been through the end of life processes with some of our older relatives. So my experience covers a lot of life experiences. In private practice, I represented litigants. I represented family law cases, children in termination situations. So I've had an experience in that area. I just bring a lot to the table insofar as experience goes, and an understanding and a commitment to the fact that we have a fair system that judges each case based upon its own merits. Then while I was in private practice, I served on several state bar committees, pattern jury charge committees, for example, where we formulated the way that cases are submitted to the jury. So I have it gives me a broad perspective also on the bar and how it functions. I worked with legislators in formulating and in presenting legislation, seeing the give and take that goes on in the legislature and how statutes come to be written. Although sometimes you might read them and think they could be done better, the fact of the matter is they've done the best they can do over there to get a compromise. It's a big state. You have to compromise to get these statutes written. And it gives me a respect for the fact that even though the language of the statute might not be exactly what I think is the best language, my job as a judge is to respect what the legislature has done and the language they used, because that's the best they could do. And as a judge, my commitment is to read that language and to rule based upon that language. And if that ruling, in hindsight, as the legislature looks at what they wrote, is not what they intended, then they can change the law at the next legislative session. So I have a great deal of respect for that. And then I have served for 4 years as a justice on the Court of Appeals, over 2 years as a Chief Justice on the Court of Appeals, now over 3 years as a Texas Supreme Court Justice. I believe my record indicates that I have been productive on the Court of Appeals. The number of dispositions per year, even while I was serving as Chief Justice, was among the top dispositions in number of opinions written. The same on the Texas Supreme Court. For the 3 years I've been there, I have been right in the middle of, insofar as the number of justices there, right in the middle of justices as far as the number of cases I have written and the number of opinions I've written on. So I think I bring that background and that conviction to the court, and my record indicates that I believe my record indicates that I've done what I intended to do, and that is make sure each case is judged on its own merits and not some leaning or agenda that I would have to one side or the other.